dealing with a weird coronavirus fallout here, as a couple of hundred workers right now at a pork processing plant in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, has forced the plant to all but shut down right now. Now, what's crucial about this particular plant, accounts for a good deal of the meat, particularly pork, that we get in this country. The governor of that fine state joins us right now, Noem. Governor, very good to have you as always. What's the latest from this plant and how things stand now?
Well, the plant is taking a pause, allowing its employees time to heal and to get back up and running, using some mitigation efforts to protect their employees and make sure that they're still a big part of our national security. That's providing a safe and effective food supply for this country.
Now, did they fight you on this 14-day suspension of activity that you had recommended? There were reports, there were some disagreements back and forth. Could you enlighten us?
No, we're having some conversations with them. I talked with Ken, their CEO, this morning, and we're working through some of the processes and steps to get them back up and running. You know, it's critically important that they be a part of continuing to supply our food chain. They're very important to the people of this country, to South Dakota, to our economy, but, you know, we're working through those efforts to make sure that their employees are safe and that we're also getting them to full production so they can do what they do best.
Do we know much, Governor, about how it is that high a number of workers can be infected?
Well, this is by far the hottest spot that we've got in South Dakota. The vast majority of our new cases the last 3 or 4 days are coming from this situation here. But we are dealing with it. We're aggressively testing in that area, so that's why we're identifying more positive cases there. We're putting a lot of efforts into this to protect the community, and we expect good results. So, you know, we expected this to happen. I've told the people of South Dakota for months now that we would continue to see increasing COVID-19 positive cases, that there will be days where I'll be standing in front of them telling them we have thousands of cases and that we need to keep perspective. It gets alarming when you start seeing a hot spot like this, but that's even more important then that we stay calm, we look at the science, we look at the facts on the ground, and we make wise decisions. We can't do knee-jerk reactions that just make us feel good. We need to make decisions that actually do good, and that's what I've been doing from the very beginning here in South Dakota.
Are you worried about the food from that plant, though? Because a lot of Americans hearing this and saying that so many of the workers afflicted with this virus, maybe the food they're touching and dealing with is in danger or bad or already out there.
No, that is absolutely not true that the food could be contaminated. The virus doesn't travel through food. And we believe that 99% of what's going on today wasn't happening inside the facility. It was more at home, where these employees were going home and spreading some of the virus because a lot of these folks that work at this plant live in the same community, the same building, sometimes in the same apartments. So I'm fully confident that when this plant comes back online to full capacity, that there'll be mitigation efforts in place, that not only will the food be secure like it always has been, but also these employees will be in a safe working conditions as well.
You know, Governor, while I still have you, the big news certainly for you and your state is you're the first state now to start clinical trials of hydroxychloroquine. And I'm wondering what brought you to the level of giving it a test, seeing how it goes. Update me.
Well, Neil, I'm a lot better being on offense than I am on defense. And when COVID-19 started to hit our country and our state, I started to think of ways that we could work together to be aggressive to fight this. Today, we announced that we are partnering with all 3 of our major healthcare systems in the state for the first statewide, state-backed clinical trial using hydroxy to be able to make sure that we're protecting our citizens and treating them, those that are at high risk, our healthcare providers, and then also other patients in the state. So we're set up right now to treat up to 100,000 people in the state of South Dakota, and we'll be the first statewide and state-backed and endorsed clinical trial using hydroxy in this form.
All right, mainly known for its use in fighting malaria and all of that. Are there any warnings or anything to those who go through this testing process that they're given? In other words, how do you handle that part of it?
Now, this is an official trial, so it's not only being used to help treat patients in South Dakota, it'll be used for research against this disease in the future. We know we'll be dealing with this virus for a long period of time, and what we're doing in South Dakota will benefit the entire country and the world. Every single participant that will get this treatment in our state, it will be voluntary. It'll be a discussion between them and their doctor, and they'll decide if it's right for them to participate. But this is going to be very different as well in the number of people that could be involved. It'll start with a minimum of 2,000 people, but we have the capacity to include up to 100,000 people. That's a very different scale and level and diversity that no other research is offering today, and the fact that we have an entire state participating is unprecedented.
Well, you're the first to try it and do it, and first governor to do it in her state. So keep us posted, Governor. A real pleasure having you. Thank you again.
We will. Thank you, Neil.
Governor Christine Noem, we have a lot more to give you.